Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to make this really quick, but I thought I really needed to share this. A lot of people have been seeing over the past few years the things that I've been doing with the community, and more so recently, how I've been transparent on my political stance. And so, as we're approaching the vote in November, and many of us are going to go out and vote, particularly for the African American community, people I went to school with, people who live in areas like Southeast Jamaica, Queens, Far Rockaway, Brownsville, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Harlem, the Bronx. I think it's really important that I share this with you. A gentleman reached out to me yesterday and said that he felt any African American who supported Donald Trump was a traitor. And I thought that was really interesting that he said that and he put it on my page. It's not the first time that it's happened. I've been called an Uncle Tom. I've been called a traitor. I've been called a sellout. What strikes me the most, though, is the people that are calling me these things are people who look just like me. So I think it's important, for this November, before we go out and vote for an elected official, I think us within the African American community need to vote for each other. And that vote will echo and transcend not just in how we live within our communities, but how that translates into the leverage, the political leverage, the social leverage, and the economic leverage that we do not have as a community. And so it struck me really particularly. I've worked with so many amazing communities, black communities, white communities, Asian communities, Jewish communities, Southeast Pacific Asian communities, Indian communities. I have never once in any one of those settings, not in any one of those other settings, been called any names, been challenged, been disrespected. My people, however, who look like me, who I work very hard to service and work within the community, they have challenged me the most, and I couldn't understand why. And so I want to share this with you. My political stance has nothing to do with my ethnic origin or background. Subsequently, I've realized through working in schools, the underperforming schools, the schools that have the highest the schools that are in the areas, that have the highest incarceration and recidivism rates, the areas that have the lowest performing schools, the highest STD, STI infection rates, highest health disparity rates, are all Democratic districts. And so I strongly suggest for all of us to vote for each other first. Regardless if you don't agree with my political views, you should agree with the fact that I'm on the same side of the fence you are on. Because when I get pulled over by a policeman, he doesn't know what I am. He doesn't know what I've contributed to community. He doesn't know how I've done so. To be honest, half the time he doesn't care. He sees another black man in a car, in a challenged neighborhood, and he wants, for whatever reason, to make sure that I'm not doing anything illegal. More often than not, I surprise the man who stops me in the vehicle because of how I address him, how I address the situation. But most importantly, I understand that every time I'm stopped, every time I'm addressed by another race, by another people, regardless of what political affiliation or community organization that they may be a part of, I recognize that I reflect us, the African American community at large, because I'm the person that they're speaking to at that time. So I assure you, most solemnly, I tell you, I'm the same Pierry Benjamin. The difference is I've chosen another way to get the same job done. A job that needs to get done, a job that has never gotten done, a job that we've been waiting for our Democratic officials to do. Now, if someone feels that I'm wrong, that's fine. If someone feels that they're right, that's fine. I am not here to be right. I am here to be effective. And that's the difference. Everyone else can be right if they want to. Dr. King wanted to be effective for the African American race. He was also a Republican. Abraham Lincoln wanted to be effective for America and end slavery. Also a Republican. The effectiveness of the women's suffrage movement happened by us challenging the status quo of things that society deemed was right. And many people thought that it was ineffective for our America and the way we wanted to live. So I assure everyone, listening to this message right now, there's many opportunities in your community for you to make impact. Go to a local school, volunteer your efforts. Go to your churches, volunteer your efforts. Go to a community board, go to your local clubs, go to your Republican or Democratic clubs and volunteer your efforts. And then when you get there, and then after you've put your efforts out, and then after you engage at that level, you can call me whatever you'd like, because you'll realize that all of us are working for the same goal, and that's to make our communities better tomorrow than it is today. And that isn't happening. So I engage, just like I always do, for everyone to comment and engage and share this post. I think it's too important now, as we as the African American community can sway real political leverage this election cycle. I'm not talking political rhetoric. I'm not talking about anything else but us voting for each other, banding together in our communities to offer real political leverage for the things that we don't like. If you don't like the fact that many of our young boys aren't making it home by white officers, you should be just as upset that many of our African American males, many of our Latino males aren't making it home by us challenging each other. We're not making it home because we're going to jail, unfortunately. We're not making it home because we're killing one another, unfortunately. Our schools are indeed challenged, and we need to provide realistic resources to meet that challenge. I can't stress enough how much work that needs to be done in our urban communities. And many of us, including myself, lent ourselves to the Democratic vote for quite some time. But this is bigger than Democrat or Republican. This is about us. I'm going to say this again. This is about us. How we can grow, how we can build, and how we can evolve from the situations that we're in now. I think in all the ways that, all the people that have called me Uncle Tom and questioned my loyalty to being African American, I hope that you feel the same way to your rappers, to your leaders in popular culture, the one who have sold our culture cheap to people who are not within our culture, who can call us the N-word with no problem and there's never accountability, who can call our sisters B's with no accountability. There's never anything wrong with them. They will never be challenged. They will never be called Uncle Tom. But because I chose a different way to get a job done, I chose a different political party than the norm, I'm always going to be criticized. So I want you all to know I've met this criticism before and I'm very comfortable with it. I've been confronted with this criticism before and it bothers me not. But what bothers me the most is how someone would criticize me before understanding that I look just like them. I come from the same places that they come from. I have many of the same experiences that they have. The only difference is I chose to do something different about it. So I want you guys to engage. I want you guys to comment, but I want you guys to be very sincere and transparent in your dialogue. And I think if we do that, if we confront one another realistically and have real solutions to the problems that we have, and we engage with that together, then we'd get a lot farther. It doesn't happen by challenging another black, another brown, another Latino, another Haitian, another Jamaican, another Trinidadian, or anyone else who looks like you, who shares similar cultures and oppressions and challenges that you have, simply because they don't look at it the same way you do. So once you guys know me, I'm Pierry Benjamin. I'm the current state director with the RNC for something called the Republican Leadership Initiative. Much of my position lends itself to training and sharing messages and building communities, and that's exactly what we need. We need to train one another, we need to build one another, and we need to engage in our communities. We cannot afford to divide ourselves any more than we've been dividing ourselves over the past umpteenth years. So I want you guys to share this. I want you guys to engage with this. I want you guys to build with this, and I want to hear your comments. Until then, my name is Pierry Benjamin. Bless up, stay up, and God bless. Later on, guys.